The Great Filter. Are we behind it or in front of it? In my last video, I walked through the main explanations for the Fermi paradox. Why, in a universe this old and this vast, we have heard precisely nothing from anyone else, and of all the explanations I covered, one kept coming back. One that doesn't just explain the silence, but carries genuine consequences for the future of the human race. The Great Filter. Today, we go deep on it, what it is, where it might be hiding, and why the answer to that question might be the most important thing humanity ever figures out. The idea was first laid out properly by economist Robin Hanson in 1998. The logic is straightforward. The universe is enormous. It is ancient. The ingredients for life, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, are scattered across every galaxy. Given enough time and enough planets, life should emerge, evolve, become intelligent, and eventually spread across the stars. But we see no evidence of that happening, anywhere. So something must be stopping it. Between the starting point, chemistry on a rocky planet, and the end point, a civilization expanding across the galaxy, there is at least one step so difficult, so unlikely, so catastrophically dangerous, that almost nothing makes it through. That step is the Great Filter. It doesn't have to be one thing. It could be a series of steps, each of which eliminates most candidates. But somewhere on that journey from simple molecules to starships, there is a wall. And the question, the one that should genuinely keep you up at night, is where that wall is. Are we on the near side of it, or the far side? Let's think about the journey first. From simple chemistry to a spacefaring civilization, there are roughly 8 or 9 major transitions that need to happen. The right star, in the right kind of galaxy, in the right position. Life emerging from chemistry at all, abiogenesis, which we still don't fully understand. Simple single-celled life, prokaryotes. Complex cells with a nucleus, eukaryotes. Multicellular life, sexual reproduction. Complex animals with brains. Intelligent tool-using species. Industrial and then spacefaring civilization. Each of those is a leap. Each of them on Earth took hundreds of millions of years. Some of them nearly didn't happen at all. The jump from simple cells to complex cells, from prokaryotes to eukaryotes, took almost 2 billion years on Earth. 2 billion years for one step. The Great Filter could be hiding in any of those transitions. The question is which one. Here is the optimistic case. The filter is already behind us. The hard part was something early, something in the first few steps. Maybe life emerging from chemistry at all is extraordinarily rare. We know that the basic building blocks of life, amino acids, nucleotides, can form spontaneously under the right conditions. But we have no idea how those ingredients assembled themselves into something that could reproduce and evolve. That step, abiogenesis, has never been replicated in a laboratory despite decades of trying. Maybe it happens so rarely that in a galaxy of 400 billion stars it has only happened a handful of times. Or maybe the filter was the jump to complex cells. For nearly 2 billion years, life on Earth was nothing but simple bacteria. Then, in what appears to be a single, extraordinarily unlikely event, one bacterium absorbed another and formed the first complex cell. Everything with a nucleus, every plant, every animal, every fungus, descends from that one event. What if that event was so unlikely it barely happens at all? If the filter is in those early steps, if we are on the far side of it, then we are survivors, the rare few who made it through. And while the galaxy may be littered with dead planets that never got past bacteria, we are the exception. The future is open, difficult, uncertain, but open. Now the pessimistic case, the filter is ahead of us, which means every civilization that reaches our level of technological development eventually destroys itself, or gets destroyed, before it can spread to the stars. What could do that? Nuclear weapons are the obvious candidate. We came genuinely close during the Cold War, multiple times, not just the Cuban Missile Crisis. There were incidents with malfunctioning early warning systems, misidentified radar signals, and individual officers who had the authority and the apparent justification to launch, and chose not to. We are alive today because of decisions made by people whose names most of us don't know. And nuclear weapons are 70 years old, relatively primitive by the standards of what comes next. Engineered biology is another. The same advances in genetic technology that could cure cancer and eradicate inherited disease could, in the hands of the wrong people or the wrong government, produce pathogens of extraordinary lethality. And unlike nuclear weapons, the barrier to entry gets lower every year. This is not speculation. It is the considered view of biosecurity experts who work on this for a living. Then there is artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about the AI that writes your emails or generates your images. I'm talking about what comes after, systems that can improve themselves recursively, that can pursue goals with a capability that exceeds human intelligence in every domain simultaneously. Whether that leads somewhere good or somewhere catastrophic depends entirely on whether we solve the alignment problem, whether we can build systems that want what we want, reliably, even as they become vastly more capable than us. That problem is not solved, and we are building the systems anyway. Climate collapse, resource exhaustion, societal fragmentation so severe that the institutions needed to manage existential risk stop functioning. The list goes on. Any one of these could be the filter. All of them pressing on us simultaneously is not a comfortable picture. Here is the detail from the last video that I want to return to. Finding life on Mars, not intelligent life, not signals or structures, just microbial fossils, simple single-celled organisms that lived and died billions of years ago. That would be, on the surface, a magnificent discovery. Proof that life is not unique to Earth, front page of every newspaper in the world, and it would be, quietly, one of the most alarming things that has ever happened to us. Because here is what it would tell us. If life emerged independently on Mars, right next door, in the same solar system, in a place far less hospitable than Earth, then abiogenesis is not rare. Life gets started easily. Chemistry wants to become biology, which means the filter is not in those early steps, which means it is ahead of us. Every civilization that got this far, that developed tools, language, agriculture, industry, technology, eventually hit something they couldn't survive, and we haven't hit it yet. The silence of the universe in that scenario is not the silence of emptiness. It is the silence of graveyards. Now let me give you something less bleak, because this is not a hopeless situation. The great filter is a hypothesis, not a confirmed fact. It is one explanation for one observation, the absence of detectable alien civilizations. And there are others, as we covered last time. More importantly, awareness is not nothing. Every civilization that faces an existential risk faces it either blindly or with open eyes. We are one of the first generations in human history to be genuinely aware of the category of risk we are talking about. We have researchers dedicating their careers to biosecurity, to AI alignment, to nuclear non-proliferation, to climate stabilization. We have at least begun to think seriously about these problems before they fully arrive. That is not guaranteed. That is not enough. But it is not nothing. And here is the other thing I keep coming back to. If the filter is ahead, if this is the bottleneck that kills civilizations, then passing through it would be the most significant achievement in the history of life on Earth. Not just for us. Potentially for the galaxy. Because a civilization that gets through, that survives its own technology, that figures out how to remain stable across thousands of years, becomes something extraordinary. Something that, over deep time, could actually reach the stars. And if they did, they would be the first. Not because no one else tried, but because no one else made it. So where are we? The great filter might be behind us. Some early biological miracle so unlikely it barely happened once in our galaxy. In which case, we are extraordinary. We won a lottery so improbable it borders on impossible. And the future, however hard, is ours to shape. Or the filter is ahead of us, some self-inflicted catastrophe waiting at the level of technology we are rapidly approaching. In which case, the work that matters most is not space exploration, or economic growth, or geopolitical competition. It is survival, long-term, deliberate, serious survival. And either way, whether the hard part is behind us or in front of us, the right response is the same. Take it seriously. Stay humble. Don't assume we are safe just because we have made it this far. The universe did not promise us anything. every day we don't destroy ourselves is a day we get to keep asking the question. And in my next video, I want to step back from the darkness for a moment. Because if we are not alone, if life does exist elsewhere, what would it actually look like? Forget the Hollywood humanoid. Forget the grey alien with the big eyes. What does evolution, chemistry, and physics actually suggest alien life might be? That's next time. See you then.